I hate when people waste my time because it borrows that time from somewhere else.
I think the great thing that the content that we're creating happens is it saves hours and hours of time. Because generally by the time that somebody actually sets an appointment, they're ready to go.
I don't know how else to say it. I wish I could show that to people. And
people are obsessed with metrics like likes, comments, shares.
4 likes is okay. 0 likes is okay. We've got to continue to be in front of the people we want to do business with if we want them to do business with us.
A lot of these people who are so focused on the metrics aren't actually generating new leads.
Advisors listening, if not for your business and the growth of your business, commit to this stuff and do it right for the impact it has on your life and your family and the people you're helping. Everybody, welcome to another episode of Good Til Cancelled. I'm excited about this one. I'm excited about all of them. I say that at the open every time, but I am. Hey, let me start by saying this, buddy, and I hope you appreciate this, and it's true. You look great.
Well, thank you. You look good as well.
Well, no, I know you've been active and came back from Disney feeling a little thick, as they say, and maybe out of shape there, but it's been an impressive 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah, so today, to backtrack a little bit, I stepped on the scale at Disney, which probably should never do, and weighed in at 227 and change. But more so than the weight, like I just felt terrible because I ate terrible, and it was Dole Whips and sugar this and bread pudding, and it just all added up.
And, all the things, huh?
All the things. And so you know what? Enough's enough. I've had enough. And my kryptonite, it's a 3-tiered kryptonite system that I have. It is Diet Mountain Dew. It is Fresca. Grapefruit flavored, and it's sweet tea. I love sweet tea. And everybody said, you know what, just get rid of Diet Mountain Dew. You'll drop 10 pounds in a week. Well, they would be wrong, because today is, I'm doing some quick math here. Today is day 33. I have only drank water, no Fresca, no Diet Mountain Dew, no sweet tea. And I will tell you, 10 pounds did not come off in a week, but I feel better. I'm starting to feel stronger. Some level of athleticism is starting to flow back into my body. I feel it on the pickleball courts. So I'm excited about where the trajectory of things are going.
What are you down? If not 10, what's the number?
227 at Disney when I stepped on the scale Sunday, so roughly 30 days later, it was 219. So I'm down 8 pounds, but it took me a month. Right?
You know, if people are funny, 8 pounds in a month. If you extrapolate that for a year, you're talking 90 plus pounds. That's not right. It's a lot of weight.
I think people greatly overestimate what they can do in a week or a month. But I think they substantially underestimate what's possible in a year.
See, that is interesting. I think I agree with it. I also think that people underestimate how impactful just losing a pound, 2 or 3 is.
Yeah. And more so than anything, I'm not necessarily concerned about the number on the scale. It's about 2 things. One, it's about how I feel, because I felt miserable in Disney from like an energy and just sluggishness standpoint. But number 2, it's just body fat. So I came home and I ate healthy. I drank water for a week before I joined a gym. And when the first day I went to the gym, I did their weigh-in thing. But more importantly, I had 66 pounds of body fat. I mean, that's a lot of body fat. And I lost 6 pounds of body fat within a couple of weeks. I mean, 6 pounds of pure fat, I mean, that's a lot. So just by some rough calculations, try to get me into the middle of like the bell curve of average male 42-year-old. I need to lose about 33 pounds of fat, which is crazy. Go grab a 30 or 35 pound dumbbell and just hold that all day. So it really puts things into perspective. So super pumped about where I'm going to be in, a couple of months.
Well, just so you know, I mean, you can see it, right? So kudos to you. It's especially a lot of us, it shows up here. So you can see it.
I'm gonna have to call my girl Andrea and do a new photo shoot.
Yep. We'll get some slim shots.
Exactly.
No, but like for real, like
Get
people,
rid of
I'm
get rid
glad
of
that you
thick
don't
Nick Dick.
I'm I'm glad you don't focus on the scale because to your point, as you convert some of that to muscle, it's the weight thing is irrelevant.
You're like our guy Glenn Powell, right? I mean, who knows what he weighs? I mean, if he's weighing in at 220 pounds, but is 3.8% body fat, I don't think he's thinking, man, I wish I was 170 pounds. And I have no idea what he weighs, but I mean, it's much more than the number, the LBs. I mean, I think that's such a limiting way to look at fitness.
Agreed. Well, anyway, that's how we started this episode, and I appreciate all of you listening to our journey down fitness road.
I'm sure there'll be updates along the way.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I think you look great. Good job. Keep it up.
I appreciate it, brother.
Don't let that those sweet beverages anchor you down again. That's because as you're going through right now, which I've been through too, it's not a lot of fun. It's kind of hard to unwind this stuff as you get a little older. You're 25, you just stop doing something and it worked.
Yeah, it's interesting how many people have told me like how easy it's going to be to lose the weight. Like there's nothing easy about it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's discipline, but discipline is freedom. All good things in life require discipline. That's the bottom line.
Did I tell you? I told you, I think on Saturday, I plowed through a sleeve of Girl Scout cookies.
Thin Mints, right?
Yeah, I've been on a no carb thing for like 4 days and it's quite miserable.
Yeah. So I do my cheat meal Friday night with the family. We do pizza night on Friday. We do the homemade pizzas. They're thin crust, so not too carb heavy, but that's my little cheat meal. So I'm still living a little bit.
Enjoy yourself.
That's my Thin Mints. I do
Yep.
I do pizza night.
Yep, I like it. All right. I'm gonna dive in here and get us started and obviously interject and add your questions, commentary, and from here. But look, we've chatted back and forth. Recently, I know you've been spending a little bit of extra time or more time or what have it in the advisor community, observing different advisor behaviors, being in tune with some of the conversations taking place in the advisor community. And I'd love to know, top of mind, what has stuck out to you lately, what's caught your attention, good, bad, or indifferent, and any learnings that you'd like to share with our wonderful Good Til Cancelled audience.
Yeah, I would say, largely it's a very broken like marketing machine that exists for most, financial advisors that exist. I think for some reason, financial advisors have tried to turn, LinkedIn into Facebook, and they've done it in a really weird way that I think is harmful to the brand. And, James Pollard, who is a advisor marketing guy, he's made a really good point that I've really taken home is that in the financial advisor, financial planning marketplace, it's one of the most distrusted industries in the world. Right. So I think the most important part about any of your social media presence, it should really be about building credibility, building rapport, building trust. And you got to be really careful about putting material out into the world that might make you look a little bit like a clown. We're in an industry that is so distrusted to begin with that you have to be so careful. I'm not saying you have to be super buttoned up all the time and you can't have fun and you have to wear the three-piece suit, but I think it's a really dangerous trend that some people are going down. You're the marketing guru. What do you think? That's just an observation that I have.
I've always run, boy, I love what you just said. Not that I'm a guru, the other part. I've always loved or always run with this idea of like, be careful of, the impression you're giving to the world. You're managing people's money. Like this is what they trade their time for. This is very important to them. Be careful in the reputation you're building. I've never looked at it from that angle. And well, I'm going to run with that now as a lead into the goofy part, which is what you shared about that Pollard shared, which is you're right. You're starting almost underwater. And why further anchor yourself and the industry and the perception by not showing people what you're capable of, the seriousness that you apply to this whole thing, how important it is to you and them. And boy, that's a fantastic point you made.
The other thing that I'm seeing is that I think so much of financial advisory, financial planning work is really things that I would consider are naturally intuitive, right? The more shares you own of something and you reinvest dividends into these great businesses, the better off you will be. That's an intuitive thing. So many pieces of financial planning are naturally intuitive. Marketing is not naturally intuitive. And I want to give you an example of that, if I could, in the way I see it. There are advisors that brag about having email open rates of their newsletter, 70, I even heard 80%. People are obsessed with metrics like likes, comments, shares. And intuitively, you would think that those are all good things. The more likes I get, that must mean that I'm going down the right track. But however, a lot of these people who are so focused on the metrics aren't actually generating new leads, new conversations. They're not having existing clients reach out to them and say, hey, thank you so much. I've never thought about it that way. That gives me great comfort in the way that you explain that, which I think those are the three key elements of all marketing. It's to drive new conversations. It's to build existing relationships closer with existing clients. And it's trying to unlock doors to new people who don't know that you exist. It's not intuitive, because sometimes the things that have generated new conversations for me have had very minimal engagement. But the only metric that I count is the fruit from the activity, not the vanity.
Let me ask you this, because I mean, I believe in what you're saying, that, we can game the metrics on marketing, period. It's not just social media. We can game it all the way. The whole thing's riggable, and it always has been.
We could be very popular in India or Singapore, right? I mean, that's very doable.
And even before it was digital, we could create the most professional brochure in the world and claim that we have the greatest marketing. But right, if people aren't consuming it and acting upon it, what does it matter? But I want to ask you this, because I know you do get involved in these conversations and talk to folks, and you handle it with tact and grace. And I think that your engagement with advisors is never met with like negative cynicism, but you do challenge folks, and I've always been proud of you for that, because it advocates better behavior in the industry. I think it's the rising tide lifts all ships. What has the reaction been when you've challenged folks on, well, Jane, well, John, that's really well and good. What have these open rates, metrics, engagements, shares, comments, likes, what have they netted you? And be honest, right? And I'm not saying that to you. I'm wondering how folks have reacted to you when you've said that.
I think they're very shocked to hear that there are people like me and the advisors that you work with who are getting substantial new conversations, new clients, new families that we're helping. Like, that's not a concept that, for whatever reason, that they are expecting that outcome to happen. And the question that I generally ask is some form of, for this to be a successful endeavor, what does that look like? Like, if you don't know what success looks like for you, then don't begin an activity to begin with. My time is too valuable to be spending time on activities that are not going to improve my clients' lives, my business, or my family's life in some way, right? I mean, that's my focus. The end goal is improvement of my clients, my business, and my family's life. If that's not the end goal, what are we doing here? I'll just go play pickleball.
Boy, that's good. I got really frustrated yesterday. I was with one of my kids, and we were coming home, and I got solicited by a salesperson, and I'm generally very friendly with them, but I do let them off the hook as quickly as I can, if I'm not interested, but respectfully. And this person just continued on and on and on to try to long-winded sales. We're not going anywhere with this. I clearly am going to tell them no, but they wouldn't let me get a word in edgewise. And after the engagement, I said to my son, like, I was mad, and he's like asking me about it. And I was like, Finn, I hate when people waste my time because it borrows that time from somewhere else. And I was like, this person was borderline rude because they were trying to bully me into something at the expense of my time. And I loved what you said there about like wasting time. Like there's other things to be doing if you're not moving with intention. And I would just encourage folks to do them. But we're going off track here a little bit. That's always been an interesting one to me. And you called it something, and other advisors have jumped on that phrase years ago, which is playing office. And, I'm sure we all find ourselves there at some point, but you've got to have that filter that catches it and says, hey, what I'm doing here is not very productive. I need to move on or try something different.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't want my time to be wasted. And it's why I don't play in the Google SEO space, right? We've had a handful of people who have found us on Google. And I will tell you, and if you find us on Google and you go do your due diligence and you'd love to meet with us, hey, we'd love to meet with you. But what I have found is that people that have found us on Google know nothing about us. Somehow they found us. I don't know how it worked. They clicked, they scheduled an appointment, they showed up on a Zoom meeting, and they were nowhere near our target demographic. And it was a waste of my time. It was a waste of their time. But I think the great thing that the content that we're creating happens is it saves hours and hours of time. Because generally, by the time that somebody actually sets an appointment, they're ready to go. It's me qualifying them to make sure that I want to work with them. If I think that they're a good fit for KMP, they're ready to go.
So going back to that, when you've had this conversation with other advisors in the community about, hey, how is this activity netted? What is this netting for your business? And you said they find themselves, or they're surprised that it's been worked for you and others. Does that conversation just die there on the vine?
I think it dies when they ask me what I do and they're not willing to do it. I mean, I think that's the bottom line, is they're not willing to do the things that are actually going to net fruit, right? They're not willing to take the time to write their own newsletter. They're not going to take the time to be vulnerable to record a video, right? Insert the 184 reasons of why I don't want to do video. I'm not ready. I don't like the way I look. I don't like the way I sound, whatever. We've all heard it. I don't like the way I sound either. I certainly don't look like Glenn Powell. We do it because we think the net benefit is there. And I can't tell you how many people that have come to us and have said things, I love your content, and they reference specific things. I met with a lady yesterday who was a referral from a good friend. And you would think referral from a good friend, that's just going to immediately turn into, she's going to show up on my door a week later. It's not how it worked at all. I texted her for, I think, over a year, close to 15 months. And in that time, I didn't know it, but she's watched all the YouTube videos. She's been reading the newsletters. And when we met yesterday, she cited specifically different things that I have said. And so she's like, Nick, I'm really embarrassed to say, I know you don't like target date funds, but I really don't know how to change it. I don't know what to do. So
what makes you say that?
She's like, I know you're going to be
9
upset.
Videos.
Yeah. You're 9 videos in on target date funds and 3 email newsletters about my rants on target date funds. But I didn't beat her up over it or anything like that. And we had a great conversation about it. But it takes time. People aren't just going to immediately hear your name and set an appointment. Most of the time, they're going to do the due diligence process. And that's why having a couple of different channels, whether it's LinkedIn, YouTube, the newsletter working for you, it all funnels towards the commonality of getting closer and closer and closer to setting that appointment. At some point, the pain is so overwhelming, or they feel comfortable enough, whatever it is, then they reach out and set an appointment and they're ready to go. And generally they're amazing clients that I love, because after all the content that they've seen, they probably would have shut it down, at the beginning if they didn't like what we were trying to say.
I really hope that folks could get closer to a place that you and your firm are at, not that like for any other reason other than like, if they just committed to it and stuck with it, it works. Like, I don't know how else to say it. I wish I could show that to people and get them there. I think the problem that a lot of folks, especially me that I work with or talk to, is they buy in like halfway or 70% or 80%, but the delta between 80 and 100 and 70 and 100 and 50 and 100 is a big deal. Like dabbling, unfortunately, doesn't do it.
There may not be any fruit that doesn't happen if you don't get above 80. I mean, that's just the way that it works. You have to be all in.
I'll say this for folks listening right now, June 2024, while it is harder to have your stuff stand out, and it's only going to continue to get harder as the noise increases and money piles into these platforms by way of advertising, et cetera. It's also hasn't been as easy, or it hasn't been as good in our community, financial community, to stand out as it is now, because so many have given up, quit, and walked away. So for what
I was
that's
going to
worth,
ask you about that. It feels like there's actual less individual advisor content, whether it's LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever. I mean, it feels like that's really, really died off.
I think because the engagements died off, right. So everyone kind of got, like, think of even the last 6 months. You don't have to go back that far. 6 months, 8 months. Think of when AI kind of first jumped on the scene and folks jumped in on the videos with the emojis and all the stuff that was like really popular this time last year, or August or September. Stuff becomes, when people jump in things and on things in mass, it becomes trite and boring very quickly because it's overdone. I think where I'm going with that is people got bored by it and stopped engaging with a lot of that content. And to your point, when advisors are feeling like maybe their stuff's not as engaged with or liked, and they don't get those serotonin hits, they step away. And what that's allowed is folks like yourself and me and the folks that I work with and clients to say, hey, let's just stick with it. 4 likes is okay. 0 likes is okay. We've got to continue to be in front of the people we want to do business with if we want them to do business with us. So let's ignore the engagement. Let's just do better at establishing our community and putting the things in front of them that we want them to see.
Yeah, it's just amazing the way that it works, kind of like the referral, it's the referral tree. I can't quantify enough how much more comfortable clients get around facilitating introductions based upon a piece of content, right? I mean, those are wonderful introductions that you write something or you do a video and you say something compelling and they're like, you know what, I had to share this with my cousin Karen. I mean, those are wonderful introductions, and there's really no way to quantify the power of that other than we both know that it works.
0. It's funny you say this. It's it's June 13th. We're recording this. Excuse me. I'm not sure when I get around to sharing this on LinkedIn, if it's this weekend or next week. But one of the posts that I have verbatim coming up is going to be, quote, very few of my clients engaged in my content prior to us working together, but all of them mentioned it during our first call. And I'm not alone. Most of you who've been diligent and consistent with your marketing have healthy, growing businesses. And like me, I bet most of your clients didn't engage in your content prior to working with you, but they mentioned it as something that caught their attention during your earliest engagements. And I just believe in that the most, and it's the most true. Like I'm working with 12, 15 people that are not the folks that comment and like everything. They're the ones who show up and they're like, hey, I saw this. Can we work together?
Yeah. And, I would say at Know My Plan, we're still in the early innings of this. I mean, we're only year 7 of being independent. And before we left the bank, we couldn't communicate with clients this way. And we've only really gotten, I would say, good at it or better at it or in the last 18 months. I think very early innings. And I think we will see parabolic growth beyond our expectations just from the continuing impact of compounding great ideas, great stories, encouragement. As Nick Murray would say, continue to give your clients and prospects vitamin C of the importance elements of and within financial planning, because the human body just cannot retain it. Like vitamin C, you have to continue dripping and reminding people of those key components.
And not to be like, I agree with that. And I don't mean to be like corny here, but like if advisors listening, if not for your business and the growth of your business, commit to this stuff and do it right for the impact it has on your life and your family and the people you're helping, right? Like, because I think you and I talk about this all the time. Your beautiful children, the things that this life to this point and what you've built has allowed you guys to do, and the flexibility it's given you. And then on top of that, what you say to me all the time is, we love helping great people. Like at the end of the day, there's people that sleep easier, that have less stress, that will have healthier lives because of the work that you're able to do with and for them. And they may or may not have found you without your commitment to being in front of them, sharing these stories, being a better marketer. Like, I'm not trying to prop marketing here, but it's like it all goes hand in hand. Like, you'd have less clients, you'd be doing and helping less people, and your family would have less experiences if you didn't continue to grow the thing you're growing.
Yeah. And I think just the process of sharing and writing and storytelling, I think it helps you be a better advisor. And I think it makes you better when you're in front of people. There is something about the exercise of writing something down that, pen to paper to brain, really makes a difference. And those things stick in my head a lot better since I've been doing more writing. I think those are really important things that also get that are underappreciated probably by the advisor community.
And the practice, right? Like, you jump on videos, or you take the time to like figure out how to communicate some of these things in your head. That adds up and shows up when you're live. When you're sitting with Sally, like it or not, the practice you've put into communicating the message more succinctly or more with a more human touch to it shows up.
In our industry, we need to show up because there's still a lot of bad actors. I know Rita's not going to like that comment, but it is what it is. Rita, shout out, LPL Compliance. We love you. I want to share two quick nuggets, if I could, that I think you'll find enjoyable. I think everybody is somebody's A client, but that A client to me might be an F client to somebody else. And we met this wonderful woman who was a friend of the family, referral, followed us for a while, 7 figures, younger, high achieving professional, right in the sweet spot, middle of the country, incredible woman, wonderful. She said to me, I'm a little bit overwhelmed because I haven't had a planning conversation with my investment managers in over 8 years. What? 7-figure liquid net worth, and she hasn't had a planning conversation in 8 years? Kids are getting ready to go to college, thinking about selling her house and either moving into an apartment or traveling the world. You haven't had a planning conversation? 7 figures? 44 years old? Full of life and vinegar? An ideal client? Shocking. Example 2, this wonderful woman works at a financial institution. She decided that she would roll over her 401k to an advisor at her current firm. And she's like, I know they're not doing a good job. And I was like, I don't know. Good is relevant. Let's take a look. Let's talk about your plan. And I about fell out of my chair. This woman had expense ratios in mutual funds over 3%. I'd never seen such a thing. In addition, she had about 20% of the portfolio sitting in cash for over 3 years. And I don't know exactly how the stock market has performed over the 3 years, but I have a pretty strong suspicion that it surely outpaced the 0.19% that the cash account was paying. That's time she can't get back. So as an industry, financial planners, the good ones, most of which we're friends with, need to step up their marketing because those are the people that are not getting helped. There's too many people that aren't getting helped by the right people. And that's what marketing can solve.
Painful stories.
Rita does not like to hear the phrase irreparable harm, but I would say that it's lost time. I mean, they gave up years of compounding due to decisions that were, you could say, collectively made with them. Maybe they were made for them. Maybe they were not informed, whatever the case might be, but they've lost time. And we're not going to allow them to do something risky to try to make up for lost time. We believe that the rear view mirror is the smallest for a reason, and we will look through the windshield and make the most appropriate and prudent allocations of capital that we can for the foreseeable future.
I would argue, just based on some of the stories I've heard and being in this industry for, as long as I have, I would argue there's more people, and I'm curious as to your thoughts, there's more people with bad advisors or there's more people getting subpar help than there are not getting help at all. Like, which, if you think about it, is more detrimental to their portfolio because someone getting no help might be paying 0 or, but someone getting bad help's paying 3.
Yeah. Sometimes no help is better than help. It's all relative, and I think there's some sort of matrix that we could probably figure out on how that goes. But as an industry, I mean, there's all this stuff about best interest and, being in the client's best behavior. I almost wish that there was just a clear distinction, a box that you had to check that I'm a financial planner or I'm an investment advisor. And if you're not going to do financial planning for someone, that's fine, but don't make it feel like it's a planning based relationship if it's not. I think the investment management portion, if you had to put a dollar of value that we provided, the actual investment management might be worth 20 cents or a quarter. I mean, the real value, 80 cents on the dollar is really the financial planning, not the plan. It's acting upon a plan for decades, not days or a year or heaven forbid an election cycle. It's creating some sort of plan that you're willing to monitor, adjust as needed. I mean, that's where the true value in compounding of wealth happens. There's a reason why the wealthiest people in this country have a financial planner. It's because the really, really good ones hold them accountable to that plan, and they're constantly acting and updating upon that plan.
I agree. It's well said, and hopefully we can find some clips in what you just shared and get those out to folks and in front of more people, because I agree with you. On the business front, any other things that we haven't talked in a little while on the podcast, any things that you wanted to cover outside of the kind of general conversation we just had?
Well, our good friend Will Miller called me out on my lack of Instagram knowledge.
This will be fun. Shout out Billy Miller.
Yeah. So he was like, hey, it's the 35 to 54. That's the demographic. That's the platform that they're on. I was like, hey, Will, I agree with you. I love Instagram. I'm almost afraid to do too much on it from a business standpoint because like my algo's really dialed in and I can spend 10 minutes at night flipping through reels and it's going to be great. I'm going to get some Jocko. I'm going to get some Kobe. I'm going to get a Michael Jordan story, random Australian Shepherd. Like I almost hate to mess that up, but I've been trying to do some short videos, which I think are good. People love the short videos, 30-second commitment to something. So trying to do more of that. I would say from a business standpoint, that's a new thing, but growth at KMP, awesome. Overwhelmed by the amount of just really, really incredible people that are reaching out to us. Our clients are amazing. They continue to graciously introduce us to people that are important to them. So we're just having a lot of fun.
Excellent. I thought, as you continue to take a journey and foray down Instagram alley there, keep us in tune. It's a challenging platform to grow on.
I don't even really know. I don't even know how to get eyeballs on it, to be honest with you. But I really enjoy Instagram. I do think, the people that we want to help, I do think that they're on it.
They are. There's no argument about it. It's that.
Can you make your content good enough to ever be seen?
You can. It's my thing that I've shared with folks as they bring this up all the time because they want to be there is you can have a marketing department or person operate almost everything else for you. If you want to execute and drive business through Instagram, you almost have to have a marketing department dedicated only to that platform, which is
overwhelming.
Well, that should give people an idea of how popular and busy that platform is. Like you actually need just a department for that. This is a fun one.
I'm baby stepping it. Like, I'm just figuring out the difference between a story and a reel.
Well, you're dabbling and whatever. It is what it is.
You gotta start somewhere, right?
This is the thing that's crazy is if you think on the institutional level, the investment managers, the mutual fund companies, the ones with the real, right, hundreds of millions of dollars to spend on marketing. Years ago, you had a team that worked just solely on print literature. You had a team that worked solely on email, a team that worked solely on web. And now you have a team that is probably under the digital umbrella, which does social media, but it's the smallest team I'm willing to bet you in the department. What I just said a second ago was if you want to execute on the platform that has the most eyeballs on it, which is Instagram, You need that to be the biggest team within the marketing department. It's a complete flip. The smallest team should be the team rolling out your fact sheets and brochures.
Corey, how will we get the fact sheets out?
You don't have a fact sheet out by July 3rd for the last quarter.
I remember the day when my office would be full of, mutual fund fact sheets or ETF fund fact sheets. I mean, I don't have I don't have a single fund fact sheet in my office today, nor will I. But it is amazing the amount of money that has been spent on brochures, fund fact sheets. It's bonkers.
The wholesaler trunk is like a clinic in how to kill trees and recycle paper.
It's absolutely incredible, and they don't like to email you a PDF. They want you to get that hard copy. A lot of money's been invested to get you that hard copy.
Yeah, you got to feel that paper stock.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the deal with that box of cards behind you? Have you not broken into that yet?
No, I haven't broken into it. It's got Luca on it. So
you just like to be teased by it every day.
Yeah, I like to delay pain. I guess I delay pleasure. So yeah, it'll probably be like a cold winter day that I'll just crack it open and rip some. I mean, there's nothing better in life than ripping some packs of cards.
Do you have sleeves on hand?
Oh yeah.
All right. So just making sure that's a big one that I missed early in the pandemic. I got all excited, bought a box of cards and didn't have any sleeves. So I had to keep.
No.
Yeah. That's why I got a bunch of nines
to keep your children away. You have a Scoot Henderson story, I believe, right?
Well, that was just, we were up in the mountains, up in the Poconos, and they had like a community yard sale thing going on. We poked into one, and this guy just had a box of cards full of like Pokemon and 80% Pokemon cards. I know nothing about them. My kids aren't interested, but there was like an Allen Iverson in there, and they're like, Dad. And I'm like, how much for the box? It's $10. I'm like, I'll give you 5. Sold. And my wife's like, oh, what a great idea. The kids will shuffle through that all day. And
little did she know that you shuffled through it all day.
No, I didn't. They just kept coming up to me every 2 seconds, like, is this a good card? Is this a good card? And I was like, that one needs a sleeve. That one needs a sleeve. I mean, I don't think we're going to have anything, PSA worthy because they're sitting literally loose in a box. But from a collectible standpoint, yeah, we found a Scoot Henderson rookie, some LeBron stuff, some, Kobe thing, like stuff that at least is worth adding to the collection. So for $5, the kids have been through about a third of the box. And God, for all I know, Nick, I know nothing about Pokemon. There's probably some gold in there too.
Yeah, no, I agree. If you had to select a card to add to your personal collection, price being no object, a single card created after 2000, what do you go with? I think I know the answer to this, but
yeah, you do know the answer. It's a 2009 Topps.
Is it Steph?
Yeah, for me, no question, because I think that's going to be a generational, like the Griffey card, right? Like, You'll know what it looks like. It's Steph with a baby face, with like the t-shirt jersey warm up on. And I think I still think he is an underrated figure legacy wise in not only basketball, but sports period. Like, he's a good dude. He's changed the way every 9-year-old plays basketball. And
he's completely, he's one of the most influential players in basketball history.
And I just don't, and this isn't like me being like fanboyish. It's just, I don't think he's received that level of recognition yet.
He probably won't be fully appreciated until he's out of the game.
Yeah, I agree. What about you? That's a great, fun question. I mean, late after 2000, that strangleholds you a little bit because you're an old soul.
I'm an 80s, 90s guy by nature.
That's a fun one for you. I can't even peg you because you don't like LeBron, so you're not going there.
Yeah, I'm not a big LeBron fan, not a huge KD fan, even though I think when you're talking legacy, I think KD's legacy, similar but different than Steph, is greatly underappreciated because of KD changed basketball maybe more so than any player in NBA history. Because every 6'10", 6'11" kid in the country thinks that they're a 3 and wants to step out and shoot threes, and has cost years of coaches' lives because every high school coach and, heaven forbid, junior college basketball coach who's trying to get a 6'8" kid to play in the post all thinks they're KD and wants to do nothing other than work on their dribbling and shoot step back threes. He's been influential. I don't know necessarily in a good way, but but he's changed the game. I would say that the person who interests me the most, like one card would probably be like the Mike Trout. I think it's Upper Deck rookie card. I think he's an incredible story. He's
I'm
not
so glad you
promotional at
went there.
all.
I'm so glad you went there.
I really like Mike Trout. I hate for him that his career has been ruined by the fact that it's been in Anaheim. He might as well, played in Russia because it's nearly impossible to watch an Anaheim Angels baseball game if you're on the East Coast, which about like 65% of the viewership for Major League Baseball is in the East Coast.
Oh, I think it's just the franchise in general. It's like playing for the Clippers.
It's terrible. It's terrible. And he's been injured. I mean, the injuries have just, destroyed his career.
Trout came up in a conversation yesterday. I'm so glad you brought that up. I don't think he's played a full season since pre-COVID.
Oh, it's been bad. Yeah, the last 3 years. Now, the other card that I was thinking of, just because I have no idea how it's going to play out, but I fell in love with Paul Skeens last year when he was pitching at LSU, #1 overall pick to the Pirates.
You're so out of line with this game. It's not even, you've got any card post 2000 and you're going to name like a prospect pitcher.
I don't know. He could be Todd Van Poppel, right? He could be the next Todd Van Poppel or Brian Taylor. I mean, I thought my life was changed when I pulled a Todd Van Poppel Topps Gold rookie card. I was like, I don't have to work when I grow up. I'm rich. I got it made.
Why does the Reds come to mind? Is that where that was?
A's.
Okay.
A's. Yeah, he was like the big thing. Yeah, but the stuff that I love, the stuff that I love. I love late 80s, early 90s.
I know, but I didn't give you, that wasn't what you have a gift card to eBay with unlimited balance on it. The card just has to be post 2000 and you decided to use it on an $85 card.
I may not have used that wish with the genie really well. I would probably go Mike Trout.
There's at least buy something you could resell and buy 10 more of what you like.
Right. There's a Patrick Mahomes rookie card or something like that.
When did Brady come in the league? He's post 2000.
Yeah, that's a good question. That could be good.
The Bowman.
And then I thought about Shohei. And then I was like, you know what? Shohei may not even be playing baseball and might be in federal prison.
Yeah, he might be in jail. Which makes it more valuable.
I mean, that's true. Talk about a potential bad investment, though. I don't know that he's going to have the legacy that people have pinned out for him.
All right, let's open it up. All-time card. I'll give you the gift card's good for anything. You're going, what, 87, 86 Fleer?
86. Yeah. Yeah, 86 Fleer Jordan.
Yeah, that's
the one. I mean, you have the 86 Dr. J, and there's something that's beautiful about the framework of the 86 Fleer with like the red and the little blue and the yellow. Like I just love. Yeah, it's great art. It's amazing art.
It's actually it's the most iconic set of all time, right?
Has to be.
Every player in that set is incredible. It's like it's Akeem, Barkley, all those cards.
Yeah. So the whole dream team was like a rookie at that period. And you still have, and then you have that late 70s era was still playing with Dr. J, Moses Malone. You got Magic, got
Larry. Yeah.
I mean,
Dr. J.
There's nothing better than like late 80s, mid 80s basketball on NBA TV. Like if you get a chance like that, it's amazing basketball.
All right, this is fun. So we've got a few minutes. I'm going to dig into a couple of these. Folks who don't know, because Nick, for some reason, is opposed to getting his sports memorabilia graded and secured. He has a fantastic collection. And one thing I asked him about the other day, and I want him to, he didn't even get into the full story on it, but I myself also have a good collection, but my stuff's like all 7s, 8s, and 9s because I had them in those sleeves, like the binder sleeve, and traded them with friends. So, the Alex Rodriguez rookie's got like bent corners on it because it's been owned by 6 different kids.
Right.
How did you maintain, because we all went to the card shop with all our extra money. That's what we did in 1992, right? How did you maintain the quality of the cards that you have?
Yeah. So first of all, even as a kid, I'd go to school, I'd have a pack of soft sleeves and a pack of hard sleeves. like at all times. And I wasn't opening cards without cases.
How did you learn that? Is that
Right.
just you were innate on understanding that you wanted to keep them in good shape?
Yeah, I think so. Like I was always someone who wanted to take care of my things and go into the card shop. You saw how they took care of cards that were worth something. And then, seven, eights, and nines sometimes is beyond your control, right? Like I have an 89 Fleer Jordan that I got in the first pack of cards that I ever opened. So sentimentally, that's my favorite card of all time. Like hands down, not even close, second. But that card is so off center. Like everything else is pristine about the card, but that card is like 80% of the margin on one side and 20% on the other side. Like that thing would not grade well at
No, and
all.
I get that,
Even
but your
though,
cards, you kept them in incredible condition. Like you shared pictures with me of certain cards, and I'm like,
yeah.
how as a 12-year-old did you maintain that?
Yeah. So I always took good care of my cards. The worst financial decision I ever made is I was at a card shop and I opened up a pack of Fleer Ultra when Shaq was a rookie. And it was like an air pack. And every card in the pack was the Shaq rookie card, the all rookie team card that has like the little bitty miniature pictures of Shaq in the background.
So you
So I
opened
got like 12 of those. It was like 12 Shaqs in a pack. And, the guy that owned the card store, Steve, like his mind exploded.
yeah.
He's like, I don't even know what to say. He was like, I'll tell you what, if you give me 10 of those, I'll give you the 86 Jordan. He had an 86 Fleer Jordan. This was before they graded cards. All right.
Is this before
And this
Beckett?
whenever
Or no, this is like Beckett era.
Beckett, yeah, Beckett existed. But I mean, that card was like $200 in Beckett right out the gate. And Shaq was taking the world by storm. You have to remember when Shaq was a rookie, people thought that he would be Michael Jordan-esque in the pantheon of greats.
And Jordan was still playing, so it wasn't like he had the legacy that he has.
Right. And I think if memory serves, I mean, this may have been at a point where Jordan had transitioned to baseball or had just left. Like it was really close to that era. And I mean, the Jordan card was still a couple $1,000 card at that point. It wasn't
right, but this guy's gambling
$1
on
million.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's thinking that, hey, these cards are gonna be worth $1,000, $1,500, whatever, maybe
Each.
$15,000
Right.
each.
Yeah.
He's like, hey, give me 10 of the Shaqs, I'll give you Jordan.
It was the Jordan. Let's just play this game out a little bit. Your memory is going to be blurred, but was it in decent shape?
It was good, but that was before they were graded, right?
But like
So,
we could call it like just a 6 or above.
it was definitely a 6 or above. Yeah, it was
Okay.
not. It was not ding. There was nothing visible. Now, maybe if you got a magnifying glass out, like what happens at PSA, there would be some flaws.
So maybe you didn't give up on a 10, but it could have been a 7, 8, or 9.
Could have been a 7-8 for sure.
Okay.
I think it would be a solid 7-8. It was centered. I remember that, and I thought hard about it, but I was like, no way, man. Shaq, baby, the Diesel.
Yeah. Come on, Steve. Beat it with that offer.
I know. I just got his rap tape. I'm like, I'm not giving. I mean, Shaq's a rapper too. He's more than a basketball player. He's I can't think of was he the genie or what was I can't remember the rap tape.
Yeah, the genie. Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the biggest financial mistake I've ever made in my life.
It is
because I think a PSA 10 Jordan today is worth what, 250?
No, it's yeah, but they're more like 350. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was a miss.
The entire box is 250, 259, I think was the lowest I saw it.
That's unbelievable.
Kind of crazy. I mean, if you had that kind of coin, that would, like, if you were a million, like multi-millionaire and 250 didn't kill you, that's worth buying. Because if you pull the Jordan, you've covered, even if it's a 9, you're close. But all the other cards in there added up, you're well over that price.
Kareem, Magic, Bird, Dr. J, Hakeem, Barkley, these are all great cards.
On and on. Moses Malone. Yeah, like there's a million cards in there that are worth 4 figures at least.
Yeah, Mulin's in there. Isaiah's in there. I mean,
God forbid you pulled 2 Jordans.
Don't even tease me like that.
I'm just saying, like, I don't think 259 is out of line for that box.
I had a friend who recently did one of the box breaks online, and he got a Peyton Manning, like 1-of-1 autograph with a little piece of jersey on it that he was offered $50,000. on the spot for it that he won in a box break.
And what did he do?
Oh, he kept it.
Not
Huge
graded,
Colts fan.
kept it.
Yeah.
I might part ways
Yeah.
with that and go a little SPY with that 50 large.
I mean, I love betting on the enduring businesses of America.
Tax free, 50 large. It's quite a bonus.
Yeah. Theoretically, it shouldn't be tax free, but yes.
Well, yeah, I guess, I mean, I'm sure.
Theoretically, it's a taxable transaction. Consult your tax advisor.
Yeah, shout out to Rita. All right, one more on the, if I can get you on the way out the door here. We both recently watched the fun kind of rom-com slash serious movie. It was just fun. I think you nailed it with saying that's a fun movie. Hitman with Glenn
Oh,
Powell,
yeah.
who's
Yeah.
crushing it lately on Hollywood. Question I had as I'm watching it, you know, the cute co-star Madison is kind of the love interest there. Is she a psycho in real life for her behavior and like falling in love with the hitman, or like are we okay with like that was just
Well,
a circumstance?
let's not get it twisted. Of the two of them, she was the hitman. She's the one who actually committed a murder.
Fair,
Right?
right.
Um, she killed she killed her husband, and then I guess jointly,
And the other
I guess
guy
she
killed
killed a
too.
second person, right? Because she killed the
Jasper.
previous hitman.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So I thought Madison was amazing. Had a feel, it was like two different movies in one. Like there's like the clear first half of the movie, then there was like the pivot when like the real love interest there came when he kind of wanted to get out, so to speak. But there was almost like a Dexter vibe to it
You
that
know,
I really liked.
a Dexter vibe that they missed on.
Yeah.
I
They
really
could have leaned into that.
Yeah, if someone wanted to redo that movie, you just take the serial killer part of it farther and let the love thing, rom-com thing die a little bit, and you could really have some fun.
Yeah, I thought it was a really fun movie. And I thought it was even cool that the portrayal of Gary Johnson was largely based on a real person.
Yeah,
Right?
that's fascinating.
I mean, this is not a fictitious story. And I'm going to give a TV show and a movie for all of our viewers out there that is Nick Nielsen's stamp of approval.
Uh-oh.
The Beekeeper, which I rented with Jason Statham. It was one of the most enjoyable $4 that I could imagine spending on a movie. Probably one of the most enjoyable times I've had watching a movie in 5 years.
Wow.
Like it so far exceeded expectations and was the absolute right thing at the right time.
That's an incredible endorsement.
And I mean, you got a little Jason Statham in you. I think, Corey Keating is like 50% Jason Statham, 50% Luca, kind of the best of both worlds. I think that's who you are. And then the second thing that I would like to encourage our viewers to check out is Dark Matters on Apple TV, which is based off the book. Now, it is dystopian sci-fi, which I know is not your thing, but it was really, really well done. And Apple Plus is continuing to put out some bangers. Like they are the home for dystopian sci-fi.
That is, that's an accurate take.
Netflix isn't doing a lot in that space. It's the new stuff that's coming out that's dystopian sci-fi, and there's a large percentage of the population that really enjoys that stuff. I mean, they put out The Foundation, For All Mankind. I mean, they are crushing it in that space. Like they have no, I think, real interest in putting anything out for the kids. I guess they have the Snoopy catalog, the Peanuts catalog.
No,
but other than
the
that,
platform's not built for the kids. You can almost tell when you're on it. It's just not kid friendly.
I'm excited about Presumed Innocence with Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, that looks like a good one. We'll have to get into that the next time we catch up. I've got more stuff I want to talk to you about in sports cards, but we'll punt to another episode. I appreciate jumping back on with you. It always feels good to get some of these conversations banged out and have them and share them.
Absolutely, man. It's fun to share. Let people know a little bit about what goes on beyond marketing and financial planning.
Hey, keep up what you're doing, buddy. Proud of the health journey and the business journey you're on, and we'll talk soon.
All right. Sounds good. Take care, buddy.
Cheers.